If Africa was the motherland, they wouldn't let you have it. They won't let you have it. When I say they, I mean, when I say they, I mean the people that run the money infrastructure of the world. That whoever control the armies, whoever control war, the waters, those people, when I say they. If Africa was motherland, they wouldn't let them people have that place to themselves. They just wouldn't. So people fall for ruses all the time. Especially if he the one that's telling you that Africa is motherland. He know damn well Africa's not the motherland because he would have took claim of it. And took it over. And made it his own. If he didn't make Africa his own, then Africa's not the motherland. It's very simple. Very simple. You would not have that place. They would not have that place to themselves. If Africa was the motherland, it's not. Because he would have took that. He would have had that place sold up. He would have renamed you and told you from America. He would have switched it around and made you think the opposite of what is reality, because that is part of the art of deception. It's a war tactic to protect or to deflect or to get people to think in a certain direction. So no, Africa is not the motherland like we made love to believe. Because like I said, if it was, they will have the biggest, largest army over there protecting it. Africa is unprotected, unregulated, and unsupervised. People are at their whims, doing whatever, or overly regulated in such a way where they can't be prosperous over minute little things, or just geographical hardship. So yeah, Africa's not the other land, because if it was, trust and believe, they would have the biggest army in the world over there. But where is the biggest army in the world? In America. So America is the motherland. They have to protect it. But at all costs, even if it lies to the people and let them believe that Africa's motherland, because part of the deception. What do? Not to say that any particular person or any particular group is an enemy of the people that's in charge of armies and war and the infrastructure of things. No, it's just to kind of, as a safety precaution, let's push this propaganda. I wouldn't say propaganda, because this propaganda has truth to it. It's not really a lie. But this push this ideology that Africa is motherland. That way people can go over there and we can protect the real motherland. Even from the people that's originally inhabited, let's get them to believe that they're African and go over there, because they may feel that the original inhabitants cannot protect the land, or has close to destroyed the land at one point in time, through their own wars, their pre-war, before the conception of America, before the conception of many places. There must have been some type of act of destruction in which they feel that the original inhabitants should no longer be in charge of the land of America because of what happened possibly in the past. Wars, chaos. So they, hey, let's put this in place. Educationally, let's push this ideology that this theory, which is an ideology that Africa is the birthplace of humanity, to get the motherfuckers to go over there, because last time they fucked this shit up and they almost destroyed it. That could be one theory, but another theory could be that they just want to lay claim to the most sacred place in the world for themselves, whatever, for whatever reason. But I don't think that's the case, honestly. I really don't think that's the case. I just think they're really trying to protect that area for somebody. For some odd reason, it could be energetic portal. It could be something very sacred that they want to protect. So they just tell people that, hey, look that way while we over here doing this over here, protecting it at all means necessary. Even if we got to lie to you to make you believe you something when you're not, and make the people in the masses believe something that is not true. So there's many theories as to why they are using the art of deception to point to Africa as a place of a sacred land of humanity. This is interesting, I mean, it's easy to believe because it's like so many people over there that have dark skin for one to believe that, hey, maybe that's true. But no, it's because that's the case. I mean, that's actually the case, right? Because the original inhabitants of many places are not the original inhabitants that are there today, right? So it doesn't mean that was the case millions of years ago or whatever, how many ever years ago it was, that it may appear. When things appear a certain way, you have to question it sometimes, especially when they go hard on it, like people are really pushing this. Yeah, Africa's motherland, and everybody come from Africa. You really got to question that because how do you know? How do you really know? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you done digged up the whole earth in its entirety, and you found everything that matched up perfectly and evenly to really come to this conclusion, which is actually still a theory, not a complete conclusion. And they don't. But it's a great tactic to use. Because I only bring this up because we get a lot of people from Africa that's very arrogant and rude towards Black Americans. I'm like, you don't know, because if you knew, you would just be a little bit more humble, a little bit more kinder to the people that actually stayed and actually duked it out. For whatever reason, you went over there and did your thing. You've been over there for millions of years. That's you. All right, so don't come over here acting like you're above and beyond. Because if you was, you'd be above and beyond over there. Not over here in my face. Travel millions of miles to see me in my face. And talk shit to me. But nonetheless, also not just because of that part. That's just like, surface level stuff. But also the vibration, the frequency. People from those other countries just don't have the same frequency of people over in this country. And that's what I think that's the vibranium they're talking about. Because the real Wakanda is, of course, is in America. Because there's no Wakanda in Africa. There's a Wakanda in America. It's spelled different. It sounds the same. And it's an indigenous word. Indigenous American word. But anyway, the frequency is different. They have a different vibration than Americans, indigenous Black Americans, and indigenous Black Europeans. They have a different vibration than us. They have a different mind, a different spirit, a different frequency. And because of that, that's what made me look, not because they kind of like blow smoke as if they're better than us. And that's as if we come from them. Well, no, baby, we can't come from you. Because if we came from you, there will be remnants in Africa showing the greatness that they have in America. And it's just not there. But beyond that point, the frequency is just different. I talked to many people from Africa and from different countries. The frequency is just different. I mean, I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying the energy is different. The energetic field is different. The aura is different. So I know that we cannot be the same people because of the energetic field and the aura, because energy can never be created or destroyed, right? So the energy is the energy. And the energy they possess is not the energy that we possess. So I knew that there was a difference. So that's what got me to dig in deeper into archaeological evidence, the fact that we have the biggest army in the world in America, and the fact that America is very well protected, and versus other nations that are claimed to be the birthplace of humanity. Because if it was indeed the birthplace of humanity, why is not protected like it should be? On a land-based level, like, I mean, of course it has its follies, but for the most part it is very well protected land versus that land. If it is a place of humanity, I feel like it would be very well protected in many ways, and a more better infrastructure. So that led me to really question, like, is it really the motherland? Because if it was, y'all be over there, controlling stuff and doing stuff. They only spent 100 years in Africa, colonial-wise. So I beg to say that if it was indeed the motherland, they would not have left. And the one, like I said, when I say they, that means the ones that's control the armies, control the money, control the land, and not necessarily a race thing per se, but a occulted type of thing, or a mindset type of thing. Definitely the elites, right? The elites know where the motherland is, and they treat the motherland as such. So people can say what they want to say about this or that, but look at the stone. When it's written in the stone, it is law. Okay? If it's written in stone, it is law. So you have to see who is written in stone, and dig deeper. Just don't take. And I wouldn't even say the elite is the enemy, right? I wouldn't even say the elite people are the enemies. But I will say that they have an agenda that they have to bring out for whatever reason. They are in charge. They have been left in charge for whatever reason to enact a certain agenda for a certain purpose. And I don't believe this has nothing to do with race at all. It has nothing to do with race. I mean that may sound crazy, and because based on the parent, it may seem like, oh, this is definitely racial. This is definitely, it may be religious. Don't get me wrong, it may be definitely religious, because religion has to do with mindsets. But race has nothing to do with race at all. But definitely religious in many aspects, because it's all about mindset. It's all about thoughts and agendas and politics. But it rarely has anything to do with race. Rarely. So that's why I said that it may appear to be racial, right? Because, okay, black people went through slavery, and the slavery you have to be careful with, because there's Indian slavery before there was African slavery, right? In America, that is. So the Indian slavery can very be confused with the African slavery, because, Africans look similar to black Americans. We look similar in some degree. As far as dark skin, the kinky hair, to some degree, we look similar. But we're not. The energy is different. You have spoke to people from different countries, their energy is different. This is the way it is. Black Americans have a certain energy, and it's different energies within the Black Americans and the Black Europeans. I mean, we all have these different energetic fields that, of the originality of the people that goes, with the land. But for whatever reason, the elite has been left in charge. And the elite does not always mean white, but it may appear that they're the white people in charge. But remember, the elite don't mean white. Because at the end of the day, if you look at the palm color, I'm a dark woman, dark brown woman. If you look at the palms of my hands, if I lose my color, baby, I would be considered white, right? So you can't really go by the appearance. So, yeah, so it's not about race. It may appear to be that about race, but trust me, it's not. And it's truly about the vibranium. The world is looking for this vibranium, and the vibranium is real. It is real. Trust and believe. And they're doing what they can to protect the real motherland, which is America. The biggest army in the world? I know you lying. Okay, so don't always go by what the parent is. But if somebody tell you who they are, believe them.